This is the Pacific Island American Experience course.
From a poly perspective.
The type of music that I do reggae and also a mix of reggae and R&B. And then I also do traditional Tongan music. On the reggae and R&B side, I would say the thing that impacts my music mostly is personal experiences, things that just speak to myself and that I kind of get inspiration to write about. For the flip side, for the traditional Tongan music, the reason why I have a passion for that, and the reason why I try and put that out there is because I kind of feel that the old traditional Tongan music is a genre that is sort of dying. The type of writing that traditional Tongan music entails is very poetic and it's very beautiful, and it's a style of writing that is starting to die. And also, because we're here in the States, I think there's a very big importance in retaining our language, because I feel that it's something that could be lost. As far as the traditional Tongan music that I do, I feel it's sort of a responsibility for myself to kind of pay homage to the original Tongan musicians. They're not my own compositions. They are compositions of Queen Salote. They're compositions of which is a very renowned composer in Tonga. And a lot of musicians have taken their songs and kind of adopted it and have done their own renditions. The type of music that I've done with the traditional Tongan music is to keep things very true to the original artist. And I do that because as an artist, I want to respect their compositions. And I feel it's kind of a responsibility to me to sort of give back. And so the traditional Tongan album that I have out is being donated back to Tonga. Because these aren't my own compositions, I don't feel that it's right to benefit from them monetarily. And so the funds are going right back into Tonga. The proceeds are going back to the Tongan Red Cross.
When I grow up, I want to be an NFL football player.
When I grow up, I want to be a fire dancer.
When I grow up, I want to be an artist.
I want to be a doctor. I want to be a dancer and a singer.
When I grow up, I want to be a pediatrician.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
But I think as musicians, and we may not see ourselves as role models, but because we put ourselves out there and we kind of make it our career or make it so that people know that this is something that we are very passionate about, I kind of feel that it's our responsibility to write to a certain audience. So I think I've done a song for the H.Y.P.E movement, and so that's kind of my way of giving back to the youth and kind of trying to empower them to do whatever it is that they can in whatever field that they feel passionate about to go out and achieve their goals. So, I mean, it's not necessarily something that we probably feel responsible for, but there is a lot that we can do.
I know we'll be okay, and I know there's a big with the same.
For Polynesian shows, there's kind of sort of like a, it's hard to describe. I call it Mafana, or Tongans call it Mafana. It's kind of like a feeling that you get when you're at a show. If you're performing for your own people and they recognize your music and they know the lyrics, and even to have your family members, you know, in the crowd, it's a different sort of vibe that you get. Whereas if you're performing for, say, like at a college campus, and it's a very different setting where, you know, the people aren't very familiar with your music, it can kind of feel sort of cold, and you kind of have to work a little bit harder to get the crowd into it. Whereas if it's a Polynesian show, they already recognize your music, they're already familiar with your music, and they're with you, and they're Mafana with you, and so it's kind of like a different vibe.
In my way, I'm gonna let it go. I won't let nothing.
Being a female and doing music, there are the norms in mainstream music where, you know, they talk about sex, they talk about drugs, they talk about different things of that nature. In our culture, it's very sort of taboo to talk about sex and to be very respectful when being around your brothers or your male cousins. And so when I write, I try to stay away from talking about things that are inappropriate. On the radio, you can turn on the radio and listen to any station, and I swear 90% of them are talking about sex. And I think as Polynesians, that's where we kind of set ourselves a little bit above, because we do have different morals and different standards as far as music. And so when we write, we try and keep in mind that we do have that respect and that line to cross, and we don't cross it. We can get on stage as females, fully clothed, and still be able to move a crowd.
Been lonely times that found me hoping.
Personally, I grew up listening to a lot of R&B, and so I have a lot of R&B influences that I listen to. I love reggae, of course. I have to say, like Babyface, Tony Braxton, and then as far as Pacific Islander musicians, Queen Salabe. She was an extremely talented writer, and also I always drink tea with lemon, honey, and cayenne pepper. I'm currently a music major here at the University of Utah, but no formal training. Everything's just how you hear it or how you feel it. Natural. One of the first shows that I did was out in the Bay Area, and I'll never forget being on stage and looking down, and there's a song that I wrote, and it's called When You Need Me. I remember looking down in the crowd while singing this song, and there were about 3 girls in the front row bawling and looking up and singing along with the lyrics. And I don't think there's anything like that feeling, to look down and see that someone recognizes your music, not only recognizes your music, but connects with it. And I think that's probably one of my favorite moments ever, is to look down and see that something that I wrote connected with somebody, and that somebody was so moved by it that they cried. This song I wrote because I heard the beat. It was a beat that was produced by my brother, and I heard the beat, and it just felt right to write something for my nieces and nephews. When you're on your own and you need a love child, the world is heavy on your shoulders.